WGN's Judy Wang has our top story.
Two shootings on the same Rogers Park street. Keisha, who asked us to use her first name only, was parking her car when gunfire erupted. One of the bullets went through her rear driver's side door.
I didn't count them. Enough. It's always a lot. It's not like, oh wow, they're shooting again. No, it happens every weekend.
A group of people was standing on the sidewalk at Howard and Ashland at about 11:40 Friday night. Police say two cars pulled up. There was an argument. People in the cars and someone in the crowd fired shots at each other. 2 men and 2 women were shot. The 5th victim suffered a graze wound to his head and refused medical treatment.
I try to get in early, you know what I'm saying, avoid the trouble that's going on in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, due to the weather, that people get a little out of control.
Well, I've been over here about 3-4 months, and it's been quiet in a good area, but this just shocked me. So I'm just like, it's just like, hey, I'm really gonna keep my kids in the house now. Even though they'll be outside at night, it's just you don't know what can happen.
The second shooting happened about a half-mile away on Howard near Damon. Police say a 35-year-old man was on the sidewalk, heard shots, then realized he had been shot in the foot. Police found multiple shell casings scattered across a fast food restaurant parking lot. Corey Lee, who lives near both scenes, heard the shots. He worries about children who use the Park District facility on Howard daily during summer.
Go to a park district and have their after-school programming, it shouldn't be that they have to worry about gunfire just to play and grow up and, attend park district activities, That's just a shame.
Police have not released descriptions of the shooters, the cars involved, or disclosed how many suspects they are seeking. In Rogers Park, Judy Wang, WGN News.
And new at 5 o'clock, police in Gary, Indiana are investigating a shooting at a bar that left a 37-year-old man dead. 2 men and a woman were wounded as well. It happened around 2:30 this morning at the Up Top Lounge. It's not clear what led to that shooting, but video shows broken windows, dozens of evidence markers around the bar's entrance. No word yet on the victims' identities. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. In Highland Park, a fundraiser is underway to help the little boys severely injured in last year's 4th of July mass shooting.
The benefit event is wrestling, and it has a high-profile backer. WGN's Christine Flores reports.
The National Wrestling Association brought this free event to Highland Park. Its purpose is to not only raise funds for the youngest victim of the 4th of July shooting last year, but also bring a sense of community through wrestling. Body slams, cheering, and merch.
So we have 4 foam hands.
We're all a part of Saturday's wrestling match called Highland Park Cares for Cooper.
This is amazing. If you can see or if you've seen Cooper back there, he is wearing the championship belt, and we're all a little bit concerned he might try to get in the ring and actually call a real heavyweight bout. But it's amazing. The Highland Park community continues to just be incredible.
Keely Roberts is referring to her 8-year-old son, Cooper, who was the youngest victim in the devastating mass shooting that happened during Highland Park's 4th of July parade last year.
I talked to Keely Roberts, Cooper's mom, and she said, look, I would like to tell you that we don't need any help and everything's fine, but she said it's been a tough year and we need your help. That's all I need to hear. And as a parent and as a fellow citizen of Highland Park, I'm happy to be part of that support system.
You might recognize Billy Corgan. He's a frontman of Smashing Pumpkins and the president of the National Wrestling Association. Admission to the brawl was free. But fans who wished to see a takedown in the front rows were asked to make a donation of at least $75. There were also sponsors and raffles, all of which benefit Cooper.
It's just good for everybody. Something like this, it just helps everybody, whether you're directly affected by it or not, but you know that there are people out there that are willing to help.
I think it's very exciting. I think it's great that they're doing a fundraiser for important cause type of thing that's going to bring the community together.
I think for all of us it's going to be a continuing journey of how do we support one another, because we recognize that people are at different stages in their movement forward and in what they brought a year ago to the parade.
Today it was about helping Cooper and his family.
I think that with Billy's support and with this community's support, we are really wanting to make sure that we do for Cooper everything that is necessary so that this fight to regain his ability to walk again is something that is realistic, and it is something that we're going to, as a family, be able to see come true for him.
This event was sponsored by Billy Corrigan, who says he looks forward to bringing other events just like this to the community he calls home. Reporting in Highland Park, Christine Flores, WGN News.
Time for the first look at the forecast. Boy, we had some clouds and sun, rain. We had everything.
Improvement as we went through the day,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, we started out very gray and a little wet, but as we've gotten later into the afternoon, more of us seeing some of that sunshine, including down in Madison. This is our Colin Powell Middle School weather bug camera. How about we jog to the Western Trails Elementary School here in Carroll Stream, and no issues looking at downtown Chicago all the way from Evanston. This is our Northwestern University weather bug camera. Some folks out there on the beach as well. As for what's happened rainfall-wise since midnight, Kankakee and Hebron right around 7/10 of an inch, just under 7/10 in Flossmoor. Dyer, Indiana, just over 6/10. The heaviest rainfall was south of the city, really south of I-80, but 78 in Sycamore right now, the same in Harvard, 77 Wheeling, Libertyville at 76. Those are our warmest temperatures. Our coolest, 65 in Gary, Indiana, Valparaiso, Indiana, 67, 69 at Gale Community Academy, the same at Coles Elementary School. Here's those clouds starting to break up and usher themselves further to the south. You give you a wider view. Do you see any rain on the horizon? No. There's a very small chance for a stray shower here tomorrow, but more of us expect to see that sunshine and warmer temperatures. And then we're going to warm things up even more so as we start out the work week. But we're already tracking the next chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms, maybe even some heavy rainfall potential. I'll tell you when that could occur coming up in the 7-day outlook. Jackie and Tamon.
All right, thank you, Mike. New at 5, one person is dead following an early morning house fire in West Chicago. Firefighters responded to a home in the 2300 block of Barnhart Street around 2 Friday morning. Crews closed off the area as they tried to extinguish the fire. Investigators found the victim later in the morning as they were trying to determine what sparked the fire. The person has not been identified as officials try to track down family members.
A new report in Northwestern student-run newspaper details allegations of hazing among football players that prompted school officials to launch an investigation.
That investigation led to a 2-week suspension for head football coach Pat Fitzgerald. Chris Bowden joins us with an update.
Yeah, and Tamon and Jackie, Fitzgerald began serving that unpaid suspension with yesterday's announcement. But after the Daily Northwestern published several specific allegations presented to the university by an anonymous former player last November and prompted the start of an independent investigation in December, a school spokesman referred WGN this afternoon to yesterday's original statement and executive summary. The details in the school newspaper from the former player include graphic details of incidents which were corroborated by another ex-Wildcats player and inferred some of Fitzgerald's actions indicated he may have been aware of that behavior. The state's former inspector general led the investigation by an independent law firm. Her findings concluded that while current and former players had varying perspectives about the conduct, the whistleblower's claims were largely supported by the evidence, which also included a review of thousands of documents. In addition to the unpaid 2-week suspension of Fitzgerald, the school will more closely monitor locker room behavior by someone who does not report to Fitzgerald, as well as anti-hazing reporting processes. And obviously, the publishing of these details has certainly triggered, right or wrong, the court of public opinion on whether the penalties are sufficient enough, but the school is standing by its original disciplinary decision. We'll have much more coming up in sports later on.
Thank you.
Look forward to it. Hundreds of teenagers and young adults explored the Magnificent Mile, the lakefront, and the Loop today as part of My Block, My Hood, My City's Downtown Day. The event started at the Harris Theater and offered opportunities to explore museums, local restaurants, and businesses. Participants were given $50 gift cards to spend on food and entry to different events and attractions. The goal is to get the kids out of their neighborhoods and explore everything downtown has to offer. Naperville continues to hold on to its title as #1 in retail sales in the suburbs. It tops the list in auto sales, restaurants, and bars, as well as groceries. Total retail sales last year saw a record $4.6 billion, an increase of 6% over the previous year. This is according to Melaniffy and Associates, a Chicago-based real estate and retail consultant. Naperville has been #1 in retail sales since 2016. It's called the retail mecca of the suburbs. Schaumburg is #2 in retail sales, trailing Naperville by more than $638 million.
Just ahead, how Ukraine's president marked 500 days since Russia's invasion.
Also just ahead, how Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says China can work with us to combat climate change.
And Texas launches a new barrier, hoping to stem the flow of migrants at the border.
Today marks the 500th day of Russia's war on Ukraine, and President Volodymyr Zelensky marked the milestone by paying tribute to his soldiers in a video from a Black Sea island. It's called Snake Island, and it has become the symbol of Ukraine's resilience in the face of the Russian invasion. This is the same island where a handful of Ukrainian soldiers defied a Russian warship at the beginning of the invasion in February of last year. The president commemorated those who gave their lives in the battle, recapturing the island later that summer. Well, today, intense battles continued to rage in Ukraine's south and east.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is urging China not to let tensions get in the way of cooperating on climate change. Yellen is in Beijing to try to smooth rising tensions between the countries, which are the world's largest carbon emitters. Yellen again defended restrictions on technology imports during her meeting with China's vice premier, and she encouraged China to contribute more to a UN fund that helps developing countries adapt to the changing climate.
It's something the world expects of us, and climate change is on the top of the list of global challenges, and the United States and China must work together to address this existential threat.
Climate envoy John Kerry will be the next top official to visit China when he heads there next week. 6 people were killed in a plane crash in Southern California today. The Cessna business jet had taken off from Harry Reid International Airport in Las Vegas. It crashed in a field around 4:15 this morning, just north of the French Valley Airport in Marietta. That's a city about 80 miles southeast of LA. No one on board survived. This was the second deadly crash in a week at the French Valley Airport. On Tuesday, a pilot was killed, 3 children injured when a single-engine Cessna crashed shortly after takeoff.
Texas is installing a floating barrier on the Rio Grande River to prevent border crossings. On Friday, dozens of large orange buoys were unloaded from trailers in the border city of Eagle Pass. The 1,000-foot buoys will be anchored to the riverbed. This is Governor Greg Abbott's latest challenge to federal government's authority on immigration enforcement. Advocates are concerned the barrier could harm people who try to get around it, and it could harm the environment. The state hasn't disclosed tests or studies it used to assess those risks.
Well, kind of sketch this morning, but looks like that stuff moved out, no?
Yeah, moved out. I think a real nice evening for us. So anybody can get out there, maybe dining al fresco, right? Outside, we like to do that, always good. But we can look outside and show you kind of the difference. You notice we still have some cloud cover hanging around in Kankakee in our southern sections. This is our weather bug camera right downtown atop the administration building. We're looking to the west there, but starting to see more sunshine as we get into the early evening hours. More sunshine certainly to be found as you jog up to the north here. McHenry County, Three Oaks Recreational Area and Crystal Lake. Plenty of folks that are out there on the beaches right now taking a little dip, and we got plenty of sunshine as well. You see the boats out there on Lake Michigan, easy to spot with our Soldier Field weather bug camera. Things looking pretty good there. Partly sunny as we got into the afternoon hours, and that allowed the temperatures to rise at O'Hare up to 75, 64 low this morning. Yes, cooler than the averages of 85 and 66. Your records stand at 99 and 48. Partly sunny still at O'Hare, 75 degrees, north wind at 9. Dew points have dropped into the mid-50s. It's a very comfortable air mass in place. It's 70 right along the lakefront at Soldier Field to Lansing, 70 as well down in Kankakee. We have a little more cloud cover, but 74 Bartlett, Aurora, and more 73 at Midway. Only 68 in Valparaiso with that breeze down the lake and a decent amount of cloud cover helping to keep you cooler there. But a northeast wind right now between 3 and 10 miles per hour. Satellite radar composite, we're breaking up the clouds and trying to usher them farther to the south. Let's give you a wider view now. You see some showers up here in the UP of Michigan, northern parts of Wisconsin, but high pressure going to be building into our region, and that should leave us with a pretty good amount of sunshine here tomorrow. There is a very outside chance for a stray shower. It's not going to come this evening. No, here we are at 9 o'clock. Things looking very good for us. And then just some scattered clouds overhead tonight. We could see a little patchy fog. Keep that in mind if you're going to do a little traveling into the late overnight hours into tomorrow morning. Plenty of sun to start the day. Maybe a little more cloud cover in the afternoon. You saw it there. And when we have that breeze off the lake converging with that northwest wind, maybe a stray shower. I'm just going to mention it in case there's a little sprinkle out there tomorrow and you're not surprised by it. But more than likely, we're going to remain dry. And then on Monday, a whole bunch of sunshine. Look at these arrows on your screen with the southwest wind starting to pick up. We're going to push the heat all the way up to the lakefront. At some locations, probably going to be up around 90 degrees, most probably making the upper 80s. Overnight Monday into Tuesday morning, we can't rule out a stray shower or two. But as we go through our Tuesday, better potential for scattered showers and storms, and even more so on Wednesday. Now, these forecasted highs, I think the lower 80s, certainly possible here, like Bartlett 83, 82 in Harvard. I think that's 78 at O'Hare. Too cool. I think lower 80s there as well. 77 in Waukegan, certainly could see that happening. 76 at Chicago's lakefront, 82 Midway, 81 Morris, 81 in Ottawa. Same for Kankakee and Lowell, right about 81 in Valparaiso. A little bit cooler than the average high of 85. Here's tonight we're just going to see some scattered clouds overhead. Some fog is possible as we drop down into the lower 60s. And tomorrow we increase our clouds a little bit later in the day. That could lead to that stray shower. Overall, though, looking pretty quiet. Highs in the lower 80s and probably mid 70s at the lakefront. Whole bunch of sunshine here on Monday. Highs into the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Upper 80s on Tuesday. Chance for scattered showers and storms. Showers and thunderstorms becoming likely for Wednesday. Can't rule out a stray shower here on Thursday. Highs in the upper 70s then. Friday, a chance for scattered showers and storms with highs in the lower 80s. And we could carry some of that wet weather into our Saturday with highs in the mid-80s. Again, you notice none of those days we're blowing it out of the water and saying rain all day long, but the potential there is at times maybe seeing some strong thunderstorms, something to keep an eye on, but that'd probably be around the middle part of the week. And of course, we'll update the forecast accordingly.
Of course. Thank you, sir. Still to come, the mouth-watering contest to see who has the best burger in Roscoe Village. Plus,
coming up on Weekend Break, I'm at Famous Dave's in Addison, finding out what makes a great rack of ribs at the All-Star Barbecue Series.
This is Chicago's very own WGN Saturday Evening News.
they are weekend warriors on the barbecue grills, and today they competed in Famous Dave's barbecue contest at Dave's location in suburban Addison.
WGN's Ji-Suk Yi takes us there on this weekend break.
Today, we have some of the area's best pit masters who are smoking up a storm, and they're competing for $5,000 in prize monies to see who gets the golden tickets to go on to the big contest this fall. You know, there's a lot of pit masters, what we call weekend barbecue warriors, who have their own secret potions, and you know, they're at home making up their secret sauce. While here, they get to strut their stuff and show what they're really made of.
There are 3 special rubs with an injection, and then we'll do a mixture of 4 different sauces on it. We're doing an Argentinian smoked pineapple for 4 hours.
I represent the state of Iowa, the Iowa Barbecue Store. So we have a full-time job that we pay bills with, and this is our passion.
Where are you from, Mr. Russ Allen?
North Alabama.
I can't tell that.
If you can't tell.
And what are you known for in terms of your barbecue?
turning in late. We're going to do a shrimp taco today with homemade taco shells and some slaw and some other different things. So it's going to be really good.
We harvest the hickory that goes in the smoker. We hit them with the hind a little bit with the sauce and the rubs and stuff like that. So I think that's the combination of both of those. Hopefully will get us a golden ticket.
This is our rib barrel. This averages between 275 and 350 degrees. And the ribs, as you can see,
Woo! Look at this, I'm getting a facial, y'all.
they look a little different than maybe your low and slow tradition. But this combines a really good grilling flavor with a smoke flavor that seemed to work well with the judges.
10-minute window, 11:55 to 12:05.
In this contest, they're going to tell us what to expect for flavor. That's going to affect the execution score. We'll call a pull test, and we'll take a slice and pull it. If it snaps apart clean, it's good. If it's really tough, it's going to get judged down. So you don't want it to fall off the bone, you don't want it too tight, you want it just right.
No matter who wins today, no one left hungry with plenty of free delicious barbecue to go around. Sorry, I left these on too long. In Addison, Jisoo Kee for WGN News.
Bringing hope and healing to the West Side community, leaders and residents gather in West Humboldt Park to pray for peace.
Bringing out the best for the best, a mentoring program pays tribute to those who've paved the way for success.
Growing a healthier future in Chicago, Gaynor Hall takes us to an expo highlighting urban agriculture.
Mic check, hello. Mic check, mic check, mic check. All right, thank you. 3 minutes.
New at 5:30, police say a 43-year-old man was taken to the hospital in critical condition after he was shot near Oakwood Beach on the south side.
WGN's Jewel Hillary joins us along the lakefront with more. Jewel.
Hi, Jackie and Taman. An anonymous witness told us that the victim was trying to help de-escalate a confrontation between the shooter and a meter maid when he got shot. According to investigators, the victim was shot multiple times around 11:40 this morning. That shooting happened here in this parking lot not far from the lakefront in the 3900 block of South Lakeshore Drive. The witness we talked to says she was walking towards the lake when she heard the victim and shooter arguing. Moments later, she says she heard about 5 shots fired and ducked for safety. When everything seemed clear, she called 911 and tried to comfort the man who was fighting for his life.
I called 911. It took 15 minutes for the police and ambulance to get here, which was obscene. So we were standing there comforting the man, letting him know that someone was on their way.
The witness told us the shooter sped off, and at last check with police, no one is in custody. Anyone who does have information on this shooting should call CPD. Reporting live along the lakefront, I'm Jewel Hillary, WGN News.
Thank you, Jewel. A 22-year-old woman was fatally shot on the south side this morning. It happened in the 9600 block of South Perry Avenue in Roseland. She'd been walking on the sidewalk around 4 a.m. when shots were fired on the block by an unknown suspect. She was hit in the back of the head and pronounced dead on the scene. No one is in custody. Area 2 detectives are investigating.
Westside residents took to the streets this afternoon for a prayer walk promoting peace.
Deliverance, Lord God, there is, Lord God, comfort, Lord God, there is healing, there, Lord God, hallelujah, is
303 people have been killed in Chicago this year, according to city data. Police District Council member Elise Edwards organized the walk. She says it's meant to provide a visible message of peace in some of the areas hit hardest by the violence.
Mayor Brandon Johnson spent part of the day attending this year's Chicagoland Basketball Playground Legends Luncheon. The goal of the association is to partner with the city's at-risk young people to help them improve their lives and set goals for themselves. It's done through monitoring groups and training workshops. Some of those who have been helped have gone on to college and have come back to mentor and support other people.
More than 75 men put on their finest attire for a Chicago Gentleman's Brunch. The event kicked off with a brunch trolley ride to 178 East Delaware Place. You might remember that's the former John Hancock building. This was organized by the Chicago-based group I Am a Gentleman, which was established in 2016 to promote empowerment, etiquette, and mentorship for young black men. As part of the brunch, the group discussed issues like health and wellness, fitness, and grooming.
Today's event is simply for men of all walks of life, of all backgrounds, to get together, dress in their finest attire, and talk about what it means to be a man, what it means to give back, and what it means to make the next generation better.
The event also included an award ceremony honoring local media leaders and mentors.
Fresh food, healthy lifestyles, an expo on the city's west side promoting the benefits of urban agriculture.
WGN's Gaynor Hall has that story.
In a United Center parking lot under light rain, the citywide Climate Smart Urban Agriculture Equity Expo carried on.
Today is a major day, learning about healthcare, learning about education, and learning about urban farming.
Donald Patterson is the president of the Urban Transformation Network. The nonprofit brings together community leaders and churches promoting farming on unused land outdoors, as well as exploring opportunities for farming indoors, all inspired by the impact a healthy diet and fresh food can have on outcomes for Chicago's young people.
We got to start growing it within the community. We got to get the community to know where it comes from. We got to get the community involved, the churches, the schools, the youth. The youth got to learn about the opportunities in farming.
As much sun as possible.
The expo included giveaways of seeds and produce. Congressman Danny Davis says the city is ripe for growing interest in urban agriculture.
People are understanding the value of agriculture, growing fresh fruits, putting oxygen into the air, helping our economy become more of a green economy. And so it's great to be a part of it.
Kenneth Walker from the Natural Resources Conservation Service says the network's efforts align with USDA goals, cultivating a new generation of farmers meeting the needs of their communities.
It's teaching young people a way of sustainable life. And part of our mission also is to encourage our young people to go into agriculture.
At the United Center, Gaynor Hall, WGN News.